Hi there. Today we are solving Bilingual Maths GED Grade 12, first semester, first session 2014 and 15, Part 2, Extended Questions 15 to 18. In Part 1, I have put up the MCQ questions. Kindly subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button before we move forward. This is a partial fraction. The first thing to do is look at the powers and check whether it is long division. It is not, because this is, if you multiply this, it is x to the power of 3 in the denominator, and the numerator has x to the power of 2. So it's not a long division question, it's not an improper fraction. Then you see this is a quadratic equation. Use the calculator mode 33 to find the factors. You will get x is equal to -1. You have got only one answer. First bring the -1 here, it will become +1. If you get only one answer, please remember that you have to square it. Now rewrite the question by the factor we found, x plus 1 square and x minus 2. You can see this is a repeated linear factor case. So you will have a over x plus 1, b over x plus 1 square, and c over x minus 2. Always open your factors like that. Write it in a pencil. I'll show you why in the next step. After this step, write all your numerators and leave space in between. A plus B plus C. Then look at the denominator of A, x plus 1. You cover x plus 1. If you cover x plus 1, what is remaining? X minus 2 and 1x plus 1. That's what we are going to write besides A. X minus 2 and x plus 1. Then look at the denominator of B. You have x plus 1 square. It means there are 2x plus 1. If we cover them, what are we left with? X minus 2. Write it besides B. Now for C, we are going to cover x minus 2. If we cover x minus 2, we'll have 2x plus 1. So it will become x plus 1 square. After this step, check how can the denominators be 0. If you have x plus 1, if we write in place of x -1, it will become 0. This is a square, so we don't use it, we leave it here. X minus 2 is x is equal to 2. You can see also that the signs are changed. After this step, we are going to write when x is equal to -1. So in this whole equation, wherever there is 1, we are going to put -1. When you put -1, -1 plus 1 is 0, so A will get cancelled. -1 plus 1 is 0, so C will get cancelled. We will be left with only B. So let's substitute, and -1, -2, you will get 5 is equal to -3, B. Divide 5 by -3, so your answer is -5/3. After this step, we will use when x is equal to 2. So now we are going to substitute x is equal to 2 in the whole equation. Again, let's check where is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0, so everything multiplied by 0 is 0. Therefore, we are not going to use A. 2 minus 2 is 0, 0 multiplied by everything is 0, so B is also cancelled. We are left with C. You will get 20 is equal to 9C. So 20 divided by 9 is your C. Now we have to find what have we found? B and C. Now A is remaining. For the repeated linear partial fraction, after we use up the numbers we used up when x is equal to -1 and x is equal to 2, we will always equate coefficient. When we equate coefficient, we equate the coefficient of the highest power of x. What is the highest power of x here? X square. So we'll write equate coefficient of x square. We can see the coefficient of x square here is 5. So 5 is equal to x multiplied by x is x square. So you will get ax square. B multiplied by x is bx. And as this is a square, so when you do x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 1, you will get x square. So the coefficient of x square is a plus c. We have already found our c, so we'll replace it. And then bring the positive 20 over 9 to the other side. And you will get 25 over 9 is your A. After you find everything, you must write the question again. Sometimes they give you one whole mark for writing it. Sometimes they don't. So we always have to be careful. You can write it in the factor form or the original question. And now we are going to replace our A, B, and C. What is our A? 25 over 9. So leave it like that, and the denominator of A is x plus 1. Then for B we have -5 over 3, x plus 1 square. And for C we have 20 over 9 bracket x minus 2. So we are done with this question. Here we have to find d2y over dx2 if y is equal to x to the power of 3 over 2 plus x plus 3. A very easy 4 marks. So when we differentiate, we will get dy over dx is equal to, we bring the power in the front, so 3 over 2x, and then we subtract 1 from the power, so 3 over 2 minus 1 is going to be half. Whenever you differentiate x, the answer is the number before x. In this case, it is 1, so it's going to be 1. And when you differentiate a constant, that is anything without x, it's going to be 0. Now we are going to differentiate it again. So 3 over 2. Remember the power goes in the front, so half. And then we minus 1 from the power. Half minus 1 will give you negative half. And 1 is a constant, so that will become 0. We don't need to write the 0. This is your answer. You can simplify it by bringing the power down. I hope you all know that x to the power of half is equal to square root x. So this is equal to 3 over 4 square root x. Even if you wrote only till here, that will be fine. The next question. Find the equation of the tangent to the curve y is equal to 16 minus x square for x is more than or equal to 0 at the point of intersection of curve y with the x-axis. What information has been given to us here? That x has to be more than or equal to 0. It means x will be only positive. The second thing, the curve intersects with the x-axis. It means that y is equal to 0. If it intersects with the y-axis, your x is equal to 0. Before we begin, always remember that for equation of tangent, you need three things: x, y, and the gradient. You already have your y. Now you have to find your x and the gradient. So in place of y, substitute 0, x square is equal to 16, x is equal to plus or minus square root 16, x is equal to plus or minus 4. So x is equal to 4 and x is equal to negative 4. This is rejected. So the point of intersection is 0 and 4. Sorry, 4 and 0. So the point of intersection is 4 and 0. Now we need to find the gradient of this equation. So the dy over dx is equal to negative 2x. Substitute in place of x 4. Your gradient is negative 8. After this step, we will use the formula to find the equation of tangent. I hope every one of you know that. Y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. What is your y? 0. What is your gradient? Negative 8. And your x is 4. We replace these values. Therefore, y is equal to negative 8x plus 32. So we are done with this question. Moving on to the next question. They have given us an equation and we have to find the range of values of x for which y is an increasing function. It's a 3-mark question. It is one of the most repeated question and it has a format of solving. They give marks in a very specific manner. So I'll explain that to you. The first thing you have to do before differentiation is write down a statement. You get half mark for writing the statement. Y is an increasing function. Because it is increasing, we will write more than when dy over dx is more than 0. If it was decreasing, we would have done less than 0. And now you differentiate it. So when you differentiate dy over dx, 1 over 3, the power comes in the front and we minus 1 from the power. So 3 minus 1, 2. This 3 will get cancelled and here it will become negative 2x. So we have x square minus 2x is more than 0. If you have a quadratic equation, after this step, make it equal to 0 and factorize it. What is common here? X. So you have x minus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. X is equal to 2. If you don't know how to factorize this, use your calculator mode 3 and you will get x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 2. You know that we have done previously also questions. If you have a positive, when you bring to the other side to write as a factor, it will be a negative. And if you have x is equal to 0, we just write x. So that's how also we can write the factor. You get 1 mark for factorization. After this step, you have to make a table. You always have to make a table. They give you 1 mark for making the table. So let's make the table here. And we write value of x and sign of dy dx. This is the way we make the table. We use the values of x that we got here, 0 and 2. Write the small value of x first and then the big value. After that, do x minus 1 here. So 0 minus 1, what will you get? Negative 1. Sometimes you may not be able to use x minus 1. It's okay, right? X minus 0.5 also, it's fine, just something close to that value. Then here x plus 1 will be 1 and 2 plus 1 will be 3. So these are the numbers that we got. When you put 0 and 2 in the calculator for dy over dx, you are going to get 0. So it's going to be 0 only. Now substitute in your gradient. This is your gradient here. Substitute the values. When you substitute negative 1 here in place of x like this, negative 1 square minus 2 negative 1, you will get a positive answer. We don't need to know the number. So we'll just write here the plus sign. When you substitute 1, you are going to get negative. So write the negative here. And when you substitute 3, you are going to get a positive value. If it is positive, draw the arrow up. Negative, draw the arrow down. Again, it's positive, draw the arrow facing upwards. When it goes up, it means your graph is increasing. So it is increasing when it is less than negative 1. So y is increasing. You have to write the whole statement. You get half mark for writing the statement. So y is an increasing function when x is less than 0, and also when these are your values, no? When you got 0 and 2. So when x is less than 0, it was increasing, see it's going up. And when x is more than 2, the other value of x, it is an increasing function. So this is the way you write it. Let's see how they mark it, because it's very important that you get your marks correctly. This statement will give you half mark. This differentiation and factorization, everything will give you 1 mark. 1 mark for the table and half mark for writing the statement again. You have in your calculator an option. If you are using the 95 ES, the Casio calculator, you have in the option for inequality. You can use that also to see if your inequality signs are right. So the next question has a closed rectangular box. This is the box. It is to be constructed with a base whose length is twice its width. If the total surface area is 108 square centimeter, calculate the value for x which maximizes the box's volume. You need to know certain steps to solve this kind of question. They are not difficult. You may think it is difficult because you're not used to word problems. We are going to follow these steps here. The first is draw a diagram. The diagram is already done. The second is label the sides. They have labeled the sides for us also. Length is twice its width, x. So the length is 2x, the width is x, and the height is y. Third step, we have to make an equation with a known quantity. What is given to us? Total surface area is 108 square centimeter, and it is a closed rectangular box. You will be given the formula in the formula sheet, and the surface area of a closed rectangular box is 2 Just remember that if it is an open, this 1, 2 will not be there. So only that you have to remember. Otherwise, the formula is going to be the same. Now we are going to substitute what we have. The area is 108. The length and the width is given to us. So 2x times x plus 2 times 2xy plus 2 times x y. This will give us 4x square plus 4xy plus 2xy will become 6xy. Now you have to make x or y the subject. We will not choose x because there's a square with it. So we will make y the subject. The plus 4x square will become negative 4x square, and 6x is a multiply. When we bring to the other side, it will become a divide. We have also finished the fourth step. We made it into one variable. Now we will make an equation for the quantity we need to find. What do we need to find? The volume. The volume formula will also be given to you. Volume is equal to length times width times height. So again we are going to replace 2x, x and y. You have 2x squared y. Then we have to again make it into one variable. What we found here will substitute in place of y and simplify it. So you have 2x squared 108 minus 4x squared over 6x. For simplification, I feel it's easy if you do not use the denominator now. Now do 2x squared multiply by 108 and you will get 108 times 2, 216x squared over 6x, and then 2x squared multiplied by negative 4x squared. So it will be negative 8 x to the power of 4 over x. Subtract the x power. So you have 216 over 6. 2 minus 1, 1. And 4 minus 1 will give us, oh, I forgot to put a 6 here. 4 minus 1 will give us to the power of 3. I know that many of you students get overwhelmed when you look at a word problem. Don't be. See, I've broken down the marks for you. The total surface area has been given to you, 108. So the surface area formula, look at the formula sheet, write it down and substitute the values that you have. This will give you half mark. When you make y the subject, you will get another half mark. And then to find the volume, they have told us to find the volume, write the formula for volume and substitute your length, width and height. Again, this has been given in the formula sheet and you get half mark for this. Substitute the y, which we already found here, and that will give you another half mark, even if you cannot simplify. So out of a 3-mark question, getting 1.5 or 2 marks is not bad. Always attempt all the questions. Now moving on, we have to differentiate the volume. So it will be V dash is equal to 2166. The x will be removed when we differentiate. And 8 multiplied by 3, 24, 6, x square. 216 divided by 6 is 36. And 24 divided by 6 is 4x square. Make it equal to 0. So now we have negative 4x square is equal to negative 36. X is equal to negative 36 divided by negative 4. You will get plus and minus 3. So we are going to use x is equal to 3. X is equal to negative 3 is rejected because dimensions cannot be negative. Now we have to double differentiate whether they ask us or not to show whether it is a minimum or a maximum volume. When we double differentiate this, we'll get negative 24 multiplied by 2 over 6. Substitute in place of x3 and you will get negative 24, which is less than 0. So here we know that if it is less than 0, it is a maximum point. Therefore, volume is maximum when x is 3. Always find all the unknown variables because sometimes they give you marks for it. What don't we know? We don't know the height, which is y. Y is equal to 108 minus 4. Replace it with 3. Sorry, we are going to put a 3 here also. And we will get 4. So height is 4 centimeter. And for the volume, we are going to use this formula 2x squared y. Replace the x and the y. And we will get volume is equal to 72 cubic centimeter. I hope it has become a little bit easier for you, inshallah. Help to you? If yes, kindly like the video and subscribe to my channel. Also watch part 3 for the extended questions from 19 to 26. Thank you for watching the video.